You know, I've never actually claimed to be some big tech person. I'm not a tech person. I think when it comes to video game consoles, I've been very upfront about that. Now, back in about the time that the Xbox One X was coming out, I did take some classes and some courses and things like that to kind of get a better understanding on the technology itself so that I could convey that in a simple way. But I never tried to like lord that over anybody or claim that that made me some kind of experts because I hated the way that a lot of YouTubers would build a PC and then claim to be some kind of expert on, video game consoles. Okay. I built my PC thanks to that. Not that it's some super great achievement or anything, but it works. And, I feel like I wanted to kind of have a better idea on some of these things. But I've never worked as an engineer to build a console, so I wouldn't know. I've never worked as a developer building a video game, so I wouldn't know about that. What I do know is I can convey what the professionals have said and sometimes break it down in a way that's easy to understand for, everyday gamers. Now, there's a lot of people out there that will read something and go, "Oh, well, this means this, or this," right? And I always said right away, listen to what the developers are saying, not what YouTubers are saying when it came to the performance of the Xbox Series X. Great console, but you're not going to see a bunch of things that differentiate it from a PlayStation 5. And that's just hashtag facts, folks. But yeah, you're not going to see that happen. And I was right. Here we are about 2 years into the generation, and basically both of them are running games pretty much the same. A few differences here or there, but it's not a big deal to where people who were trying to claim that there was going to be this huge difference. There's not. Now, it is true that Microsoft waited until the last minute. They were waiting for some things to kind of come through and to work out for them in terms of being able to add it into their console at the last minute. So that's true. And when people say waiting for tools, I get the joke. Trust me, I get the joke. Waiting for tools, waiting for this, wait for games, wait for next year, wait for next E3. Trust me, I get the jokes. You're not funny. I get the jokes though. But at the same time, I do feel like, what we're seeing with Microsoft right now is something that actually is going to help them. And also, thanks to them having a very powerful platform, we'll continue to see it grow. Now, I've always said right from the beginning that one of the reasons why, Microsoft and Sony kind of differ in some of the graphical capabilities, and I've mentioned this multiple times, is the fact that Microsoft is always working on these games for like potato PCs and everything in between, and Sony isn't doing that. So that's going to always help Sony much more than it does Microsoft. So unfortunately, we kind of have to put up with that. But at the same time, listen, I feel like Microsoft has come a long way. This is probably some of the good news that people were waiting for. I'm very excited to kind of talk about this and maybe explain it in a way that is going to be beneficial and help you guys to understand exactly what's happening. And, bravo to Microsoft for getting this out. Is it going to change anything short term? Probably not. Is it going to change anything long term? There's a good possibility that that could be the case. So we'll see what happens. I can't wait to get into the video. Thank you guys for joining me. Let's get started, shall we? Now, don't let it fool you. The Xbox isn't in need of some super secret sauce or anything like that. In fact, that kind of stuff really kind of bugged me back in the day about the Xbox One. Despite being a huge Xbox One fan, I always used to say they don't need a secret sauce. They don't need any of that stuff because the Xbox One has great games. And I stick by that. Even looking back, you can see within the first year, the huge difference in game quality and the amount of games that the Xbox One had versus the PS4, where the PS4 had Knack and it had Killzone Shadowfall and it had Infamous Second Son. But the first year for Xbox was unrivaled, in my opinion, with stuff like Forza Motorsport 5, Killer Instinct, Rise, Dead Rising 3, Titanfall, Forza Horizon 2, Master Chief Collection, and even Sunset Overdrive. All those were year one game releases, and in particular Sunset Overdrive and Titanfall were game changers, especially compared to what Sony had to offer. And I thought Sony really struggled early on releasing stuff like The Order 1886 and Drive Club, which just weren't very good games, along with Knack, which again just wasn't a very good game. Now AMD makes FSR 2.0, which is Fidelity FX Super Resolution open source, and the source code is officially published now. Today marks 1 year since AMD launched its technology, and to celebrate the occasion, the company has published the source code of it. Today marks the 1 year anniversary, like I said, with introduction of FSR2, their temporal upscaling solution earlier this year. There are now over 110 games that support FSR. The rate of uptake has been very impressive, and FSR is AMD's fastest adopted software gaming technology to date. So it seems that this should be a good time to pick the anniversary to share the source code of 2, opening up the opportunity for every game developer to integrate it if they wish and add their title to the 24 games which have already been announced. As always, the source code is being available as well, and they have their dedicated page as well. So you'll also discover that they have a comprehensive API documentation to help you with your integration. This is the part that really kind of pays attention to Xbox, though, in terms of what they're actually offering, which I thought is really cool. It supports both DirectX 12 and Vulkan with plugins of Unreal Engine and Unreal Engine 5 very soon. It'll be available through the Xbox Game Development Kit. We've also updated the FSR2 page as well. Note that FSR1 can still be exposed to its own scaling options in addition. So basically you might go, well, what does all this mean? It's like the scaling option that, we've talked about. A lot of people have obviously talked about this numerous times in the past. And, listen, basically what it does is it allows for these games to run at less than 4K resolution and look as good, if not better, than native 4K resolution. So a lot of people really enjoy that aspect of it, because what happens is to get native 4K is an incredible strain on a console, on the interiors, on the GPU, all that kind of stuff. And so if you can use this, right, and you can have a 1440p image look like native 4K, you're going to be able to get that much more use out of what it can do. Basically, simply put, you can have a 1440p game running 60 frames with ray tracing, whereas before maybe you'd have to cut out the ray tracing to get it to look that good. You won't have to do that anymore. So this is a brilliant answer to basically trying to save performance and things like that. So they've done a fantastic job with kind of getting this out, and this is going to be one heck of an update for them to be able to kind of come out and do that. This is very smart for them to actually kind of come out and say, hey, we're gonna change this, and we're gonna actually go ahead and make this something that actually happens before too long. So listen, I'm excited by this, and I think a lot of other gamers should be excited by what this means. It means that we're going to be getting the best possible games, and you know what, I'm excited to see where this leads in the future. I'm sure obviously it's not something that is going to really affect us short term, but like I said, long term, this could be huge. With that being said, I want to take a minute to say thank you all for watching. If you enjoy my content, please leave a like on the video. It helps it to be seen, and it helps the channel to grow. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, crap gamer out.